All right,
do it, baby.
Indeed, it's time for the finals, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh,
Last match,
yes.
last match of the day. Should be good times.
Should be.
Iden did win our other semifinal match, so we're going to be looking at Iden and Han 2 as our top two here in Austin.
No, we said it before. Han having an absolute fantastic showing today, showing out not just young Han, odd Han, old Han, all the Hans.
Yes.
So going into the finals here, having Han represented, I'm not even surprised.
I'm not, and there was a lot of Hans today, and a lot of them, performed very well. Obviously, we had four Hans of various kinds of the top cut, and then 3 of the 4 made it to the semifinals.
Yeah, it's a lot of Han. It's a lot of young Han too.
There's a lot of young Han.
Blue.
A lot of young Han. All right, so you guys have met these two players at different times over the course of the day. On the left-hand side of your screen will be Joel. You saw him earlier on the quarterfinals match playing Iden. And then, of course, Thomas, we just saw win his semifinals match. He obviously earned his seat here. And he will be playing on the right-hand side of your screen here in a minute. Do we want to look at deck lists again real briefly, just a quick refresh?
Why not?
Okay. We'll put up Joel's real quick.
That's what they're doing. They're looking at each other's deck
lists.
That's true.
Right now, the players are looking at each other's deck lists. So this is where Joel begins. This is going to be very much a battle of the giant units. There's so much top end. We saw Joel play all of the removal, all the shenanigans he's got, all the removal he's got, all the shenanigans that he brings to the table to get to that top end. And then it's just a question of, what cards he draws and the order he chooses to play them in. The Bounty Hunter crew, the one off in the sideboard, I think that's interesting.
It's for looping restock combo.
He can. Yeah, exactly. I understand. I get why it's there, but I'm betting that doesn't become particularly relevant.
I don't think. I actually think restock just comes out of the deck.
I mean, I think I would take them out later. I don't think there's a need for them.
Once he boards, that'll be like one of the first cards that comes out.
Those top targets were money in the match we saw earlier, and I'm sure they will be again when the time comes.
Yeah. That one resource open for that top target literally turned the game around.
Yeah, and how many unique units is Han playing? Quite a few. Like there's
a
non-zero number, right?
Yeah.
So constantly good resource, good value out of that, and going to be some good stuff coming out of there. Quick look at Thomas's list, just as a brief reminder. Of course, we just saw this list played.
Yeah, there's a lot of I'm curious to see how it will play out. There's a lot of interesting counterplay and plays, but also I know that just because I think you're playing entrenched for something doesn't mean that's what you want it for. So I'm curious to see how this plays out.
I really feel like Force Throw is an even bigger card in this matchup than it was in the mirror. The ability, I mean, you go back and you look at Joel's list, all of the shenanigans, right? All of the stuff that he had. Just crazy units at the top end. I mean, he's got 12 resource, super Star Destroyers in that deck.
Yeah.
And being able to possibly rip one of those out with Force Throw, just crazy.
That's the dream, right? Like the dream would be to be able to he's got 2 cards in his hand. They're both, Devastator.
Yeah, it's definitely the dream. Definitely the dream. And you can say the Devastators and the Annihilators at the top end, great Force Throw targets. The trick is with all of his card draw, how do you get him down to where that's all he's got left, and you're able to all he's got left is the important stuff.
And one of the things, early on in this specific meta with Django meta, was that the control decks all kind of had but an interesting capital ship that kind of closed out the game, whether it be Devastator, Avenger, or what is the other one that they play? So you have Devastator, Annihilator. You have these big ships that kind of close out the game, and in doing so, it creates a unique play that ends it. Relentless was another one. It was like anti-boss, right? Anti-events. So it's interesting to see what did the choice to be the closing tool.
Yep. All right, well, let's meet our players again real briefly. You guys have met them before, but it's always nice for a quick refresh on the left-hand side of your screen. This is Joel, hailing from Dallas. No Austinites in this final. We have a Dallas versus Houston final here at the Austin PQ. How very intriguing. On the right-hand side of your screen, there's Thomas. Just recently saw him close out his semifinals match. And we'll be moving on here just shortly. Now, the judges give me the thumbs up. Let me know the timer began. He did let me know that the timer for this is going to be 55 minutes because the store has to close. So it's weird that we're kind of gone 275s and then a 55, but that's what he told me, and so that's what I got to do. That's what I'm putting on the screen, ladies and gentlemen. That's not the official timer, but just that is close enough. All right, so let's come to.
I like to quickly shout out the judges at this event.
Oh, they've been great, haven't they?
Yeah, the judges have been super accommodating, respectful, as well as professional, and I really like that. It's when people are having any type of issues, the judges are eager to help. And shout out to my man on the screen right here. This judge, he's at every event. he don't miss an event.
Daniel's all over the place, man.
Yeah,
he's everywhere.
Yeah, he really is.
Well, this is also it's good for me too. Like the head judge here, Chris. I have seen him. He was the head judge when we played in Conroe, and then he worked this PQ, and he worked the Houston PQ, and so on and so forth. So we've got a lot of really good judge crews here in Texas that move around and keep us covered.
All right, so we're starting with the 5-1 Phantom.
You better have an answer for that thing.
Yeah,
You're going to be in trouble
Phantom
in a hurry.
too.
I love it. Oh, and it's even the nice Prestige version. I didn't even know he had that in there.
So now here's the other thing, right? These K2SOs are now double value. So let's say, for example, a Paradark Side comes through.
Oh, yeah. He can just pop one and throw it.
Play K2SO, put it in play. Now I have a 4-2. It's going to run over your Pershing. But when you kill it, I'll have you discard a card.
Yep.
And now I'm going to get that advantage.
I think I could see that the discard being more relevant in this matchup than the damage.
So it depends. If I don't imagine yes, he's opening with an aggressive opener, but I don't imagine his 2-3, which we already seen that he didn't even have a 2-play, which not great.
Yeah.
Oh no, they're opening. I thought they for some reason just breezed through that turn. Did they?
No. That was the two. That was the opening turn.
Oh,
Yep.
Pershing already. Yeah. It's
Pershing draws. Thomas swings, and here we are.
So yeah, there's the resupply. All right. So and now he can play K2SO. Yes, which is the right play. Now by doing this, you get the Paradark Side armor, but also specifically, I said he could run over Pershing. Doesn't let him get the card advantage. But if he plays that takedown, getting that extra card out of their hand could be vital. But if he is trying to be aggressive, then the 3 damage to the base is the other option.
This is also noteworthy because K2 was a card in the mirror that was unique to Thomas's deck. Michael didn't have any of those. Now, it didn't come into the match, but in this matchup, that could be, like you're saying,
very relevant.
Could be a big deal.
I know that they're playing. So now this is even more relevant in the bad way.
In a bad way.
Because now he's going to have him chuck the card. That is a beautiful play from a resupply into a No Glory onto K2SO.
Okay, throws away a Yoda. And spits 5 damage back. I'm a little surprised to see him throw away the Yoda. I feel like, like I said earlier,
he wants to play the other K2.
Yep. Okay, that makes sense.
He wants to challenge. Say, do you have another?
Exactly. Do you want to do this again?
If you don't, then guess what? Now I'll get the advantage.
Yep. Better have another one.
And I feel like I've said it a few times. I'll say it again. The dual lanes, being able to put a threat here and here. It really, really limits your opponent's options or puts them on a very specific clock. You can't just take 5, 3, 4 turns in a row.
Yep.
It's so much damage.
All right, Joel remains on the button here. Going to start with a Traitorous on the Phantom Deuce.
Yep. Now, does Thomas have the answer? We can see his hand.
I don't think he does.
Does not.
K2 going to go straight to base. I think I would have run over Pershing.
He did.
Okay.
He ran over Pershing. He took 1 over 1.
1 over 1.
Yep.
There we go. Okay. Sorry, I just saw him. I looked over and looked back, and I was like, what happened there? Okay. Iden's going to come out. Interesting to note. Oh, that's right. This is just now the 5 resource turn. Thomas is just now to where he can deploy Han.
Yeah, the Joel resupplied.
Resupplied, correct. Yeah, I think with the Traitoruses, the Confiscates and the Fang Fighters in this matchup for Thomas are very, very relevant. He's thinking about, I think he's thinking about maybe the Hammerhead.
You are correct.
Okay.
Take out his own Phantom.
Take out his own Phantom. That feels terrible, but at least he keeps that 5 damage unit to where it can continue to be useful.
With 5 cards in hand, he said, I'm going to go to base.
He's like, no, take it to base.
He's like, I don't have enough resources to get through all that.
Iden cleans it up. Iden does heal 1 there. Should heal 1 there, yes, because she did take a unit died. I didn't show you guys the Hammerhead. I'm failing at my job. There we go. He does deploy Han now.
Looks like there's some form of discrepancy between them. I don't exactly know. Oh, the 2 damage.
He did. Yeah, he had forgotten to put the 2 damage on when he cheated out the Hammerhead. Go. That's right. They got it this time, though.
Yep, they figured that out, and most likely Han will be going to base.
I have to presume. Yep, the Hammerhead was Honned out. And so it's got damage now.
Thomas is there. Oh, he decides to go into the Iden and put the 3 damage on it now that the shield's popped on Iden.
I really like that play. It'll give him at least one turn that he won't have to put up with her shenanigans as badly.
So now it's like if he went to base the 3, but then if Iden has a removal, he heals, and then if Iden attacks, he heals. It's like he's going to get it back. So that's possibly
now he's also sitting on another hammerhead. He just drew into one, so now he could just pop her. Yeah,
play it, go
pop.
and
gonna vanquish.
Vanquish.
Didn't see that card in the earlier match.
Literally every removal.
Yep.
Love the art and vanquish.
Yep,
wish it was bigger.
That's gonna kill Iden with the hammerhead. Iden did heal 1 there with her ability before the hammerhead bought it.
The pace that they're playing at is active. As long as they don't hit some big hang up, this will be brisk.
Well, they can't afford for it not to be.
Yeah.
The store is eventually going to throw us out. I mean, this is going to be similar to when we were here in February. Like they're going to finish, and then I'm going to have to try and tear down and get out of here, and that'll take me the better part of an hour.
Well, I'll help you to tear down.
Well, I appreciate that.
I got a couple guys out here waiting, so we'll have more hands.
Okay, well that'll be good.
As long as you're able to organize us to tell people what to do.
That won't be a problem. Tear down is much easier because it's a matter of
put this in this box.
Well, honestly, it's a matter of take it all apart and bring it in here, and I can put it all. I know where it goes, so it's not nearly so bad. Reinforcement Walker.
Yeah, very good play here. Obviously, pressure's ground. Thomas needs the confiscates.
He definitely needs these confiscates or his Fang Fighter to show up.
Yeah, the Fang Fighter, yes.
Would be a good
I know he has the confiscates in the board. Yep. It looks like after seeing both entrenched and traitorous, why would you not?
Well, he saw him on the list. Like, well, I mean, you see him on the list when you sit down. You know they're there, but you still got to, you got to get to the point where you can bring them in. Gonna go with Poe. That's another good way to help clean some of this mess up. I think Joel already claimed here.
Yep.
Okay, so we played Poe and cheated out of Yoda.
It does feel bad, Poe getting killed by...
Poe's going to 100% get walked over.
By an 8-cost unit. It does feel bad when your 5-cost gets killed by, right?
Yeah, Poe's for sure going to get walked right over here. Showing 18 damage on Joel's base. I'm not sure where I miscalculated there. I obviously missed some damage earlier. He's going to step on... Oh, he's going to step on Poe. Yeah, okay. Yep, that's 100%. Like you can't leave him alive. Yeah. Otherwise, the entrenched is going away.
Yeah, and then he's going to look. He discard to heal.
Yep.
Why do you need to draw a resupply at this stage?
Yeah, this stage is not going to do you any good.
The health is like gold.
Yep. Thomas sitting on a Fell the Dragon. Do you even bother here? I feel like you just trade your leader for that walker. He's only got 3 health left. Trade Han for it?
Yeah, I mean this is one of those things. If by going to base, I know that it sounds weird because you're leaving it out.
That's what he's gonna do.
Leaving it up, but if you go to base and you have a crate to follow up, you severely limit his options.
That's true. What do we play? I can barely make it out.
Snoke.
That's white.
It's Supreme Leader Snoke.
There we go.
And Snoke doesn't affect leaders, so Han's not affected.
Yes.
It looks like the Fell the Dragon will be hitting Snoke most likely, yeah.
Yep.
That's crazy.
Wrong side of the board on that one. Sorry.
Isn't that crazy to think about? That, like, the Snoke is more of the threat than the Reinforcement Walker right now? Like,
yeah, it is.
The Reinforcement Walker has been in play, and he's had that Fell the Dragon, but he used it on Snoke.
He does cheat out the Cham there to catch up on resources.
Yep.
We talked about that. You talked about that play earlier.
And now, of course, he did a good job of just putting it right in the row. We didn't get to see what the resource. It was a Luke.
Okay.
It was a
That
Luke.
feels bad.
Yeah, I seen it. As soon as he picked it up, I was looking exactly
where it was. Feels bad, ladies and gentlemen. I did get to heal there because another unit left play when the Yoda died.
So now, him having 0 damage on his base is obviously your health is a resource that you can expend. And having that 0 damage on his base means that he's not really worried when the Reinforced Walker or even Devastator immediately hit. If he has a way to go to base, that's an out.
Yeah.
So getting rid of this Reinforcement Walker, if you looking at Thomas's hand, he has a way to put another 5/1 in play, another one of the Phantom.
Yep, I saw that.
You have Vigilance is going to kill Han and heal. And so now Thomas has to pressure the board, has to put something into play. Joel has, looks like 4 cards in hand, but you have to, again, dual zones. That's going to be good to draw a card.
Yep. He's got to be digging for these crates.
Yes.
Like, he needs one as soon as he can.
Yes, absolutely.
Didn't get it there.
There's an entrenched.
He's got an entrenched of his own.
And so the entrenched here is actually beautiful in a lot of ways, like specifically Thomas. Joel ends in space, so you just start on the Devastator and then you don't go to space.
Yep.
But of course, that also enables Overwhelming Barrage. Yeah, that X Factor card.
The one, I won't say advantage, quirk of these two lists, Thomas has a way to remove upgrades.
Mm-hmm.
Joel does not.
Yes.
So those entrenched on the right unit at the right time,
stop them.
The big death triangles could be massively huge.
Yes.
Okay, so we're going to play Cassian out of.
He played Cassian. Joel followed up with Power of the Dark Side, and he got rid of the Hammerhead.
Yeah.
That would have had the entrenched on it.
I think I would have left that thing out there knowing the death triangles were coming, because that thing, it was an 8-10.
Mm-hmm.
It's an 8-10. You can just sit down. You can casually slap an Avenger off the board.
Yeah, but he feels like he's on a clock right now. He has to keep pushing the damage. Iden can't slow roll the turns. So if you allow the control player to slow roll the turns, then they'll be able to do whatever they want.
Yeah.
So he played a Devastator, took it back, and then played Devastator. Okay, so it looks like we're on those 10 resources.
Yeah, the lack of dragons is just going to get Khamas killed here in game 1, I think.
So now I'm just curious to see how he wants to handle this. After this, that's Joel's last action for this phase.
Yep. Going to play the Devastator, heal with Iden, and then Joel's done.
Yep. So we're going to see what we have here. He forced through. It looks like he's targeting.
He forced through and got a Traitorous. So there's only one place for it to go.
There you go. So that's 5. Now, if he can, there's an option, put entrenched and then swing, kill.
On his own X-Wing.
Yeah. He could also play the Phantom as... Oh, can that only go on Ghost? The Phantom only goes on Ghost.
Phantom can only go on Ghost.
Phantom 2,
correct.
So never mind
it can attach as an upgrade to Ghost, but that's it.
Yeah, see, I would have put the Entrenched on the red and then killed the Devastator.
Okay.
He put Entrenched on Devastator, but now Devastator is going to swing into the...
And just murder it.
But also you're taking
overwhelm.
Like 9, 11, 10 overwhelm.
You're enabling the overwhelm.
Yeah, 12 minus... Yeah, you're taking 10 overwhelm.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Even if he did do that, running into the Devastator removes it from the board.
That's true.
But again, the Entrenched and killing it definitely is the right play.
The Snoke clears it anyway, so it doesn't matter. Snoke clears the Outlaws, and it clears the X-Wing.
Yep, the X-Wing is dead.
Yep.
Yeah.
They got it. Okay, I was about to type it in. They got it.
Yeah, that was definitely should have put the Entrenched on the wing and then killed it.
Yep.
Killed that Devastator. Devastator shouldn't even be
in
play.
Well, in the end, it didn't matter because he wasn't the Snoke coming in. Joel could have sequenced that differently. Joel could have attacked and then played the Snoke.
Yeah, that's true.
Right.
But the difference is now Devastator's still in play.
Yes.
And that Thomas has space units in his hand that he could play. So by the Devastator being there, now he really can't.
Kanan mills an Avenger off the top of Joel's deck.
Which is a big hit.
That has to feel good. As Iden comes in for a heal.
Now we have
I think it's another
Juggernaut.
Oh, it's a War Jug.
Yeah, War Juggernaut. So he's deciding where to put the damage. So he put it on everything. War Juggernaut gets a +4 on that. So his attack is 5 because of the -2.
Yep. And then I cannot tell what that card at the bottom of the ground arena is now.
But the 5 attack on
it's another Outlaws. It's another Outer Rim Outlaws.
The 5 attack on it does kill Snoke though.
Yes. Which is very relevant because then everybody else gets that much better. Yep. Going to take it down. Or was that a takedown?
Yes. Yeah, it was
takedown. Did he cheat down in it? I didn't realize it had damage on it. It only had 6 HP.
The Juggernaut?
No, the Juggernaut, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm not sure. We're going to blow up Snoke with Wrecker.
I think he cheated it, so it should have had
3. Okay, it might have had damage on it, and I missed it.
The back and forth, they just know what to play. Like they are not playing slow at all.
No, this is not a slow match at all.
The amount of actions I want to say is averaging around 8 seconds. Like they're just playing.
Whoa, we milled another Devastator.
That's 2 capital
Kanan
ships
has
on
been
mills.
doing work, ladies and gentlemen.
Kanan MVP. I personally bias. I really don't like Kanan. But I know he's in here to enable force throws, though.
Yes,
that's really why
you play him. Well, and that's what's going to make the next set so dangerous for everybody else. Play against his decks, all the stinking force units, because the force throws are just ridiculous.
Yeah, I was at first when the when the previews were happening, it was like, oh, we got to ban force throw. At first, I was like, what? But now I'm still like, what? The set's not out yet.
I'll be honest, I'm kind of on that train a little bit. So we'll see where it goes.
Let it be oppressive first.
I don't want the single card to ruin the entire world.
It's not.
I don't know, man.
Force throw has been out since set 1, and it's not that powerful.
I mean, okay, we disagree.
You think everybody's playing red at Worlds?
Fair enough. There will be people that won't. Well, once again, after all the removal in the world, we're back to a clean board.
Well, in Joel's hand is literally 3 removal cards. It looks like
it's like 3/4 of his deck seems that way. Like
in his hand looked like either a Rival's Fall, Fellow Dragon, or Takedown. I think those are Vanquish.
All he has to do is sit on the button and just murder whatever Thomas plays.
Yep.
Thomas still hasn't come into one of his dragons yet, which is what he desperately needs here to start trying to push some damage.
Yeah, it feels bad on game 1 when you're digging. Digging like this, and you just can't get that card that's in there for this situation.
You know, somebody in chat earlier was kind of like, I don't understand. Like, this is such a boring way to play the game. Mm-hmm. Why would you play the game this way? And there's a part of me that kind of agrees with them. When your whole game is to prevent your opponent from not playing, how is that? I haven't figured out why that appeals to people yet.
All right, so I will do my best to explain it.
Please, I'm curious.
So when you play an aggro deck, typically, because aggro decks are straightforward, it's like you want to play this stuff and be faster, and your opponent would go to base. It's actually relatively simple. I'm not saying aggro is even easy to play. I'm saying the concept is simple.
The concept is simple. The execution is what's difficult.
And so it's the same. I would say the concept is simple. It's like you control what your opponent does, but knowing, because you're going to have to either tap out or expose yourself, knowing when to do that to get the right play is very difficult. And I feel like that's what the allure is. If you could control your opponent, it's not just your deck is not just in tune, but you're predicting what they're doing, you're reacting to what they're doing. Another no glory.
Oh, for God's sake.
And now he's going to chuck. What is he going to chuck on this one?
He's got it ditched and entrenched. Yeah, I mean, I think that's the right play. He's going to play the Fang Fighter into nothing.
He's going to play the Fang Fighter into the wrong.
That's not a big deal. That's easily fixable. But then then you're just setting yourself up for Devastator to walk over it and take 10 Overwhelm.
Thomas says immediately after he played it, because he played it on the ground side.
Yeah.
When Joel said that goes here, he immediately realized that was
I
should not have done that.
Yeah, that was an error. You could see Thomas. He looks a little rattled. Like I almost get to say he's playing a little too fast. Like maybe he needs to take a breath and just okay, my dude, just pause for a moment. There's an Avenger.
Into Luke? Yes. So he has a Luke.
He's got a Luke and a Force Throw, I think.
The Luke can kill the Devastator, but if he...
That's not maybe a great... Well, okay.
He has exactly 7.
Devastator has 9 damage on it, and it's... Oh, okay. That's an Obi, isn't it?
In whose hand?
In Thomas's hand. It didn't look like a Luke. Oh, okay, whatever it is.
Yeah, he's Force Throwing Luke. There's the Luke.
Okay.
So give him -6 and 6 and then a Force Throw.
He's going to get rid of the Avenger and hope he gets this thing.
Absolutely.
Okay, no, I like this play. He's going to cheat out the Luke with Han.
Yep.
And then spend his last one for a Force Throw.
And if it's anything that's 2, it kills the Avenger.
Yeah.
And it's 2.
Pershing.
There you go.
The Avenger.
I don't think there's just the one restock is the only one that's in the deck.
One Devastator's on the board. One Devastator's in the discard pile. There were only 2 in Joel's deck. So that's it. 2 Avengers now in the discard pile.
Now, however, it comes to how many cards are left in their decks.
Yeah.
I know it sounds like weird to ask, but it's the truth.
Oh, my goodness. What am I watching?
Yeah.
All right. Wow. Well, I won't call that Joel's entire turn. He does have 6 resources left still.
Yeah,
we're on the 14 resource turn, everybody. No big deal. I don't know how they're gonna end this match.
It's so one of two things will happen. He'll play the crate, and Joel either will have the answer or he won't.
Yeah.
And if he doesn't,
he still hasn't seen one yet.
Yeah.
There's not one in his discard pile. He's never seen one.
We haven't seen it. I don't think he resourced a single one. Looking at his hand, I don't remember seeing one.
I've never seen one go by his hand because he 100% would have played it.
Yeah. No doubt.
he's like, give me this stinking thing. I want initiative. And then Iden's going to heal for one because why not?
So he's healing and then mill.
Oh, and then, okay, then we're going vigilance. I see it now.
All right. Jam. No crate.
He's got 2 in there.
Ready? Here we go. Let's see what we got. A Poe and Rival's Fall. Not a Rival's Fall.
Surely
Dragon.
He didn't resource them earlier. This is ridiculous.
It looks like, just from here, hard to tell, but it looks like he has about 6 cards left in his deck. He can't have more than
5 or 6 left. He's been through so much of it now.
And it looks like Joel has about 8 or 12.
Yeah, they're both. This is a mutual problem. Like they're both getting low.
Annihilator.
We're gonna annihilate Cassian. Sure.
So now technically Joel gets to look through Thomas's deck.
Entire deck, yeah.
His hand is
low. Wait a minute, Thomas has the initiative there. The crates must be in the resource pile. They're not anywhere.
Was the last card in the deck a Cassian?
I think maybe.
It was. Now he has no cards left in his deck. Where are the crates? That means they're in the row.
They have to be in the... Why would you have resourced them in this matchup?
I guess he could have smuggled it. I don't know.
This is crazy what I'm watching here.
Yeah. Another No Glory. Every time he plays No Glory, Thomas hands him the Poe. Just put it in your discard pile. And he keeps giving it to him.
Yeah.
And then there's the Fell.
This is so preposterously silly.
And then Thomas has what in hand? A Force Throw and a Entrenched?
An Entrenched, yeah. I'm not sure why Thomas hasn't just scooped it up. Like
maybe he thinks his opponent might scoop it up.
He clearly has nothing to play. He doesn't even have any units in his hand, and his entire discard pile is huge. Why is he still sitting through this? The crates must be in the resource row, but why would you have done that? That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I don't know. It looks like they're going to next game.
Well, they haven't okay. It looks like Joel's scooping up his resources.
Oh wait,
here.
no, they're just picking up their discard piles.
They're cleaning up their discard piles. I can see that, which is ridiculous. Thomas is now looking through his resource row.
Thomas is looking through the discard pile.
Discard pile. That is. I thought Joel's discard pile was off to the right. Okay. You know, we've reached a point where, you know, every single set seems to have a hard removal card, at least one. And so now you've reached a point where when you put them all in the same deck, your opponent doesn't get to do anything. It's just so goofy. What are we doing now?
Well, that's where being able to leverage the resources that your opponent has to play against them. Like, for example, the removal cards overall are pretty expensive.
We're obviously scooping this up, and I have to assume that Joel's going to walk away with game 1 here. There's no win condition here for Thomas. He's eventually going to draw himself to death. Thomas
talked Joel into a concession.
I'm betting that it did not occur.
He's like, I'd be so sad. Yeah, look, looks like he's looking to bring in the 2 Chewies. He looks like he's bringing in the 3 Confiscates.
Mm-hmm. The Chewies are great cards in this matchup.
So
I'll say this. Now, chat asking the animosity for control decks is crazy. Now, I think that's, for me personally, I find that attitude a little weird because if you don't want to play the game, if your entire point is to sit there and prevent your opponent from playing the game, why did you sit down?
I think that's a bit unfair.
Okay.
Because I would argue the same thing. Like, I want to play a game, but you killed me so fast with Sabine that I didn't get to play the game.
Okay, that's reasonable.
So I think it's a bit unfair to be like biased like that. I definitely think it takes some gravitas and some skill to be able to control your opponent.
I agree completely. I'm not saying it's a skillless deck. Don't get me wrong. That's a hard lie. But this was something that I got frustrated with many years ago.
Sure.
Learning to play. I never really played a lot of Magic.
Yeah.
The game that I played probably the most of in my youth was the old Star Wars Decipher CCG.
Okay.
Which didn't really have this mechanic. There was no like insta kill a unit on the board. It was if you wanted to kill something, you get in its face and go murder it. You have to go fight it.
But you have to roll dice.
No.
Oh, okay. So
that was the WotC game.
That's what I played.
Okay. You learned that one.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the old Decipher game from like the premiered in like '95.
I have not played it.
That's fine. But the other game I played in that era was the old Babylon 5 CCG, and that game had one of the factions in it. One of the factions it was the. Have you ever seen Babylon 5, the TV show?
No.
Okay. Well, if you know Babylon 5, you remember the Vorlons, and the Vorlons were basically all about keep maintaining the status quo.
Okay.
And so when you played against a player who was playing with this particular strategy, most of their game was very similar. It was a control. It was the board. The game was about interaction and conflicts, and interacting with other players. And the Vorlons would very frequently come in, and they had cards that were like, "No, I'm going to cancel this. You don't get to do this turn. You don't get to do that this turn. I'm going to roll your stuff back or whatever."
Sure.
And it was frustrating to play against because it was like, we want to play the game. You just want to literally sit there and keep everybody else from playing the game. In that game, though, it was a 4-player game.
Sure.
And so when one player sat down to do that, and you had to be careful because if if you pissed off all 3 other players, they would all come for you.
That's another element of the game, though. It's the political aspect.
Yes.
So you can leverage in those games. For example, you leverage your ability, such as, oh, I'm an ally with you. You don't want that deal to go through. I can squash it.
Right.
Give me resources.
Exactly. Like, help me out. Like, let's make a deal.
Yes.
Right. Exactly.
So that's where the political intrigue comes in.
Yes.
I personally, I think that, especially with the approach I take to deck building, you can't really. I can never subscribe to this notion that like Boba was a problem, straight up.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So I will admit when I see an issue, no problem, and I'll call it out. But to be honest with you, I don't think control is an issue at all. I think if you reverse engineer control, like how to beat control, it's like you can effectively beat control. In fact, control has a harder time to win over aggro because they have to adapt to what you're doing.
Yes.
So it's not
you're setting the tempo of the game and the pace of the game.
You're trying to stop their tempo.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're trying to break their tempo or slow it down, right? And I think that requires knowledge. It requires skill. It requires all
absolutely.
That. So to me, it's not like I think it's just another aspect of the game. And if I took it away, if we like hypothetically, if we took it away, it would just be aggro and mid range. And then mid-range would just run over aggro, so it would just be mid-range.
Well, you're not wrong. I don't disagree with anything you're saying, but there's still that visceral part of me that struggles with the idea of it, right?
I'm sure that every single person that has ever played a card game for a decent length of time, if they got hard countered, it just feels bad.
Well, I hear what you're saying, but to me there's a difference between I ran into the deck that just the way that deck is designed and built in place just counters what I'm doing, as opposed to what I'm looking at with Iden in this instance is much more of a generic, I don't care what you're doing, my job is to simply, you're going to play a card, I'm going to murder it. You're going to play a card, I'm going to murder it.
Right.
And then eventually, as soon as because I'm slowing you down, eventually I reach a point where I have cards that now I flip the tables on you and you can't recover.
Now, because I know you're doing that, I can play cards that have armor or have resilience to what you're trying to do. For example, Lurking TIE Phantom. If I'm playing villainy, I put Lurking TIE Phantom to play. I pilot it.
Chewbacca.
Yes, Chewbacca.
Not in this matchup, obviously, but
yes.
Yeah.
So these are just cards that exist that allow it.
Yes.
So to jump into the game, we started with Dr. Pershing and Yoda on turn 1. So you have a 2/2 restore 2.
More Muppetry.
And you got Iden trying to draw cards. So I understand that it's like this is more of a philosophical preference, like debate. It's not like it is what it is. It exists. Yeah. But I'm not going to be mad at Joel for playing Iden.
I'm not going to be mad at anybody for playing a deck that they like and that they're good at. But again, I'm not too proud to admit this, right? I had a little mini meltdown against Trey a couple of weeks ago. We were playing at a local, and I was like, hey, man, you want to play some games? He's like, sure. He pulls out Palpatine Colossus, and it was just like this. I play a card. Nope. I play a card. Nope. I play a card. Nope. I was like, Trey, why are we sitting here?
Yeah. But so now check this out. if you, let's say on turn 1, you instead of playing a card, you don't.
Mm-hmm.
And then on turn 2, you play a card, and then he kills it. And then on turn 3, you play two cards.
Right. You have to adapt how you're playing, how you're reacting. I get it. And I did mention that to him. I said, this is something interesting that there's not a lot of people in our local meta who really even dabble in like hard control.
Sure.
And so that makes it difficult to even learn how to deal with it.
So there's a unspoken thing in the TCG kind of community, and that is, it's like, oh, just go play test. It's like sometimes you don't have access to a quality play tester that knows that archetype to an extent that could actually get you better.
Yes.
So if I go to my locals and I play my locals every week, and then I have questions that are not getting answered, and somebody's like, just go play test more. It's like, with who? Like, my local group is not at it. Like, none of us know this. That's why I'm seeking outside help.
Right. This has been a really good conversation, by the way. No, I'm dead serious. Like, I will not pretend that I am unbiased when it comes to control decks.
Sure.
It's very difficult for me to elaborate just how much I despise them.
Okay.
But at the same time, it's important to have the counterpoint. And you're right. Like, on an intellectual level, I understand the important place that they have in the game. But that doesn't make it any easier for me to swallow.
When I said I misspoke a little before when I said hard counter you.
Yeah.
What I meant is like when they play counter after counter. Like you don't get to play the game. That you use the exact terminology, which is, what are we doing here? I don't even get to play.
Right.
And I think that that's an aspect of the game, is like their way of playing the game is removing your options of the game.
Right.
Whether or not that's fun.
It's not your problem.
It's not. Yes.
And this is something else that I
just want to know that they're playing extremely fast. Thomas, I think, is holding 2 crates this game.
He's got at least one in his hand.
Yeah.
It is incumbent upon me as a player to understand and learn how to fight against strategies like that.
Yes.
So I accept that, and I absolutely understand that that's on me. But it is difficult. I've always found it difficult to learn how to play against control. Maybe it's because I've never had when I've generally run into control players, it's at events like this. It's like this.
Yeah.
And so you're in the back of your brain, you've got that pressure on yourself to perform and do well, and you're running into this control deck, and it's like, oh my god,
Yeah.
So
I also think perceptions play a factor in that. If you're not play testing against it, let's say to a point where you understand it. There's 1 crate and 1 force throw in that, that's the only thing of note in that pile.
He pops the outer rim outlaw and then heals 5.
So when you're playing playing control, playing aggro, or any of these, and you're making this conscious choice to bring it, you have to play test. You don't have to, but you should be ideally getting good enough to the game where you're efficient. But you really don't know what you don't know. And I will say that early on when I was playing, early card games, I was very fortunate to have players from other games kind of want me to learn their game, like the game that they were playing, and I learned a ton of concepts for it. So I've just been around games my whole life.
Yep.
And I definitely have an appreciation for the harder aspects. And I myself, I'm an aggro player at heart, but I don't want to be ever pigeonholed just to being aggro. So I try to learn everything.
I agree with you there. And that's kind of what's going back to what I was saying earlier. Like, as a player, it's incumbent upon me to learn how to fight against all manner of things, depending on what I'm playing. And what I always tell people, again, I stream a lot of World of Warships. What I always tell people is, if you want to learn how to beat certain classes, certain things, learn how to play them, because then you understand the limitations that they're operating under that you probably don't understand from the outside looking in. So maybe what I'm hearing myself say is I should go home and build a hard control deck. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. I'm taking Iden Data Vault to this week's play. I'm going to make a whole bunch of people hate me. It's going to be awesome.
I do feel also that if you understand something, it's easier to reverse engineer it.
Yes, I agree completely there.
So I definitely do agree with that, and I definitely think that as I play card games, I definitely want to play it all, because I love the experience of the card game itself, and I want to feel the vibe of what's going on, how this game plays, and stress test it.
Yep.
That's just the game designer me. I really enjoy games.
Apparently, I need to come to San Antonio and play test with you guys.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm like the gauntlet.
I'm the gauntlet. That's your shirt. I'll make you a shirt now.
I'm the gauntlet.
Welcome, I'm the gauntlet.
It's really just like, whenever any of the guys in my play group want to play or play test, they just give me a couple. I'll say, give me 2 to 3 decks, and I'll have it good, and I'll run it through because I'm a competent pilot that is able going to be able to teach them the concepts.
Well, 1 crate the discard pile, but 2 more in Thomas's hands means this match might be about to get very, very interesting.
So this turn in of itself is fascinating. We had a Reinforcement Walker come out. You had the Cham go to base. You had the
another Outer Rim Outlaws, I think.
The Wrecker blow up a resource and put 5 damage on it. So now we're at a point where, of course, a Super Laser Blast seems like an obvious answer.
Yep.
But if he doesn't have a Super Laser Blast that he just played, how does he navigate this? How many units is he going to kill?
I'll be honest. If you place a Super Laser Blast right now, I think I just windmill slam that crate and grin and be like, okay, what are you going to do now, genius?
So I will say that there is merit after doing that to not windmill slamming the crate and putting other threats into play that he has to answer, and then windmill slamming the crate. But we'll see. Like, there's a lot of stuff that could happen. An overwhelming barrage as well. Oh, Super Laser Blast. There you go.
There you go.
And then I think that Thomas will be doing that. He'll be like, okay, Crate Dragon.
Okay.
Now, the only part that really
exactly.
feels
like,
bad.
there we go. Have fun.
Yeah, the only part that really feels bad is you do not want to. Ideally, you don't want to let him untap and to get power to the dark side for 3.
Yeah.
That's the ideal.
Yep.
You don't want that.
It's going to feel bad if Joel's sitting on that, and we know he's got a handful of cards over there. It's very possible he's sitting on one. We can't quite make it out. I mean, there's any number of ways he can just drop this crate and just drop it. Nebula. There it is.
There it is. There's the power of the dark side. And I was gonna say we know he has I think he has both Nebula Ignitions.
Yeah, I was gonna say the Nebula Ignition would be a way to just murder it. He does take the damage to his base for it.
Yep.
Now, I think if I'm Thomas, I'm with you here. I think now you have to hold on to that last crate. You have to look for the opportunity. We're going to come on Palpatine's Return here on the left.
That's rough.
For the Walker, and a Cham on the right.
I guess he's holding a Snoke? Yeah, he's got a Snoke in his hand. Oh, he just drew it.
Yep. And we're going to fell that thing right out of the game.
See, it's like on a turn like that, where it's like you fell something, you have this guy in play. Now going into this turn, if he has to answer that, if you can play something small that he answers and then play crate, and then follow it up with a small to have a little armor on it, you kind of cripple him. And then puts it on a 2-turn clock. It's not like you're setting up like all these turns to do something that only takes 2 turns to finish the game.
Right. Well, and that's the thing is that I think maybe, that Thomas, perhaps, we watched him make the same mistake that I would have made. Windmill slam the crate, and here comes Power of the Dark Side.
Yep.
Whereas maybe the right turn, hold the Crate Dragon, wait 2 or 3 more turns when you can play something alongside, play something dinky out, then back it up with the crate.
I even think, because he's holding 2 K2SOs, I even think playing those and baiting out the
No Glories,
or other removal, because his hand is huge right now.
Yeah, they both are.
But baiting those out and then following it up also, and then if he doesn't have the No Glories now, Cham is gonna he immediately was gonna throw it away. He's so used to getting removal.
Yep.
But now if the K2SOs can punch through, now we're getting value, right?
Yep.
And then if you can't answer that, I know you can't answer the crate.
Yep.
So this is interesting now as we're getting to these later turns, because now one of 2 things will occur. Either Thomas is going to orchestrate a nice play where he can get a little bit of damage to base, get crate in play, lock it down, and start pushing, or Joel's just going to be like, nope, and just keep on playing stuff that's going to heal, like the dual purpose, and stall out.
Yep.
Right now, if he kills K2SO, he's going to heal for 6. So because of the
10 for a Devastator.
Yep, and then there you go. But now he's the first time ever, he's like, I'm going to get my K2SO effect.
Mm-hmm.
How many cards in hand? And Joel says 11.
A lot.
I think he has 6.
Yep.
So he goes to base for the 3.
Okay, my base health is way off. There we go. Now we got it. 15 on. He's got 18 left.
Yep.
There's
comes another K2.
And this time he's going to just go ahead and play it damaged.
Yeah, and now because play more. So now the reason why I do that is because if he Super Laser Blast, he's Super Laser Blasting a Devastator and an Avenger off the board.
Yeah. And then he backed it up with a Poe.
And now by having 2 in play, now he can usually only answer 1. And then you're going to get damage to base. And that's the pattern you want to keep up.
Yep. No, I was going to say, having the entrenched on the Avenger makes this a little more difficult for Joel, right? The Avenger was basically giving him free removal every turn. Now he's not getting that.
And put you on a clock.
Yes.
Deal the damage.
Now, as long as Thomas avoids the space lane, he can at least avoid Avenger
getting that
free kill.
And here comes the
OB to clear
the giant,
clear them both out completely.
Yeah. And then he's going to decide what to do with the K2 again. We go to base. All right, so he plays the third K2SO. The third K2SO.
We talked about how this
12 to base from the Devastator.
This was going to be a big card in this matchup, the K2, I think, and so far.
Yeah, last game, Joel having both times the no glory only results was rough.
Wrecker.
He played Wrecker. No glory, the Wrecker. Glory. It feels bad, but also it's like you didn't get to discard a card now. Yep. Like you still have K2SO in play.
Yep.
And now K2SO for the first time is going to get through for damage.
I think Thomas is on the button. I don't think they've moved the token because they're just flying through this to try and get the games in.
Yeah, Thomas is. He does.
Pretty
have
sure he has initiative here. Chad, at this point, if you're trying to catch misplays, you're wasting your breath. These guys are playing so fast, and there's 3 judges watching this table. I'm not even going to bother.
Yeah, and also I haven't seen a single misplay.
No, I mean, if there has, it's been so minor, or the unit hasn't lived long enough for it to matter. Okay, we're going to Vigilance here. I'm going to murder the K2. I assume we're going to heal for 5. It's going to put him at 16 damage on. And then Thomas has got to decide what to do with this K2 here.
That's what Joel's waiting for his.
Yeah, and they are going to put 3 damage back. Okay, so it ends up as a net heal of 2. 19 damage on for Joel, 12 damage on for Thomas.
So now Thomas is at a point where he's hesitating. He's like, "Do I want to play this?"
Well,
like the crate.
Yeah, I mean, he's reached a stage of the game where he has to be very deliberate about these things, in my opinion, right? Because that's his last crate.
Yeah, it's also he has one after Devastator attacks. He has 1 turn left.
Yeah,
so you either answer the Devastator, or you die.
Yeah, he's running out of time here, unless he can come up with another entrenched, which would be somewhat miraculous. I think at this point you just, throw the Hail Mary. Like put the ball in the end zone and see what the team comes up with. Yeah.
So now he's tapping a bunch of resources.
We're moving everything around here.
And then he's going back to the discard pile. There we got.
He's got a Fang Fighter?
Yeah, he does.
Okay.
Fang Fighter, Obi-Wan, Crate Dragon.
And Wrecker. I think there's another Wrecker in there.
One more card.
It's a
Force Throw.
A Force Throw. Mm-hmm.
It looks like they're just clarifying something. Don't know why.
Yeah, I'm not sure what they're talking through here exactly.
Most likely it was because some resources were, and he just didn't ready it. Some resources were exhausting and ready, and I think that's what he's saying. He's like, I just didn't ready it.
Chad asking where Han's removal cards are. It's an interesting question. When you look at Thomas's list, he doesn't play a ton of them. He has a few.
Yeah, that's game. I think that's game. He as soon as he played Crate, he got Power of the Dark Side.
He's literally camped on it for both. Man, that's rough. I don't think Thomas has a way back from this. That crate was kind of, like you said, I think it's kind of his last Hail Mary. Yeah, no, but why do that? It's just going to get, at that point you just go 10 to base. It doesn't matter now. Joel should be able to close this out pretty handily, I think.
So, yeah, he went 10 to base, and then he used the Avenger to attack it. Yeah, it's game.
That's game.
Iden takes it.
Iden takes it.
Iden Green
Iden Green.
What was Joel's final record?
I'd have to go back and check, but, man, he played really well. And, ladies and gentlemen, Joel,
there's that sigh of relief.
Joel is your victor here in Austin at the Planetary Qualifier on Iden Data Vault.
Iden Data Vault.
Well done.
Honestly, very interesting games. While maybe not the most exciting to cast or watch because of how one note they are.
I think they were difficult to watch, perhaps. But they were exciting to call because there's a lot going on.
To me, I love it.
He's not. First of all, he's not slow playing. He's not wasting time. These guys are blowing through these games, right?
And and that's so. As I was walking by, that was like Joel all day. He was not slow playing at all.
No, not even a little bit.
So
not even a little bit.
But no.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, let's do.